I just want to share something with you guys because I had a really big epiphany. Hold on, I think I gotta change to transparency. About content creation and just sharing content in general, because, and I'm like actually really nervous when I'm saying this because this is something that a lot of people don't do. My heart's actually doing flips right now because on social media all you see is the positive stuff, right? You don't see people are authentic, but they're authentic and only showing what's really good about their lives, and where people don't tell you the shitty parts. And one of my really good friends said to me, he's like, you know, you're not making content recently because of the situation you're in, and I feel like that may be a limiting belief that's holding you back. And I just had this crazy moment where I was like, holy fuck, you know, it is true. I don't want to share content because I don't want to share the story, like the bad parts of the story where I hate everything about my environment, you know, the people that I'm around, the food that I'm eating, you know, like people listening to the radio and the thing that's playing over and over, just stuff that drives me absolutely insane. And I typically make the best out of my life. Like I've been enjoying life for the past, like my last summer was the best summer I've ever had. But recently I made a video about an eviction thing, right? Because I took a lot of time off work because I couldn't pay my rent, and then I took some time off work to work on an app that I was building, but I didn't launch it in time, which was an error on my part. I was doing more building than actually executing. And so I got like an eviction notice 14 days. And so I pushed through that. I tried to make some money, it didn't happen. So I got kicked out. I turned it into a challenge, like turn it positive, right? Everything's going great at this point. Like I have a positive outlook on life. Everything is going great. I'm just loving life. You know, I look at everything as a challenge and I want to make the best of it because I know I'm that strong type of person and I can turn everything upside down. Even to the point where I was, you know, for lack of better words, I was pretty much homeless. I got an eviction notice. I got my parents to come and pick up my stuff. Thank you to them. That was very nice of them. And then I went downtown and I did like a 30-day challenge where my goal was to make like 10 grand in a month. So it was kind of a spin-off Undercover Billionaire. I tried this once before, but I was quite a bit younger. It was like a year and a half ago, and I aimed way too high. And I learned the same lesson then that I did now, and that was that when you live for the future or the past, when you're not in the present, right, that really fucks you up. Because if you're aiming towards a deadline, like a month, you're actually de-optimizing your long-term strategy for overall, right? Where, you know, I don't know what a better way to put this. I put this on my story a couple days ago, but when you aim for short-term targets, typically you're going to take shortcuts and things that might actually get you a little bit further in the short term, but you're skipping the foundations. You're sacrificing the foundations you need for that long-term success, that goal of yours. So anyways, coming back to the story, I did this 30-day challenge and it was going pretty well. I tried a bunch of different things. I was having a blast, honestly. I ended up getting a co-working space, which is basically an office that you rent out and you work with other people. It's 24 hours, so I slept there. I worked just about every day. I was on the grind. I was eating limited food, so I was almost in a fasted state 24/7, which was great for my mind. I was going to the gym every day as well. Money was a little bit tight, obviously, but you got to do what you got to do. And I got a little bit of help from friends, which I'm grateful for, which is, you know, it's all a people game, right? Like at the end of the day, we all help each other out to get where we want to go. And of course, you know, at heart, I'm a very generous person. I plan to pay it back, pay it forward in the future. And when you got to ask for help, sometimes that's what you got to do. That's a lesson that I've learned as well, is you got to set aside your pride and your ego sometimes, and in order to get yourself ahead and get others ahead as well. Because at the end of the day, me helping myself is helping other people, because I'm putting myself in a position to succeed, which puts me in a position to help other people as well. So 30-day challenge, this ended up being a 5-minute video already. I was planning on making it like fucking a minute. 30 minutes, 30 days. By the end of that challenge, I actually managed to do a couple of meetings with this guy that I know for an app, where I was going to get paid anywhere 8 to 12 grand if I did it as a custom app for them, or for, if I wanted to build the app myself and license it out to them, because I could do it either way and I could make quite a bit of money there. And I actually had 2 meetings, lots of back and forth, and it was successful. At the end of the second meeting, he said, yeah, I'm totally in, write up a contract, we'll have a second meeting and negotiate numbers. But like, he was throwing out numbers like 7-8K. I could have got that money easily, but I chose not to, or I'm choosing not to, because I still could typically, or but I'm choosing not to because it's just not not a very good ROI on my time, because that app would take me about 6 months to build. Even at 10 grand, that's still cutting me a little bit short for my time. And he doesn't want to give it all up front, so he would only give a partial deposit, which would mean I wouldn't even be able to afford living expenses I would need to develop this app without other things going on. So I'm like, I got to figure out something else. And so right now I'm working on an e-com strategy, doing door-to-door, because I feel like that's the most mindless offer. If I can't sell t-shirts, then I'm just fucking, toss me in the trash, right? Where, something as entrepreneurs, we're very creative. We're trying to come up with new offers left and right. See, just kind of a self-reflection thing. I'm a little bit nervous here because, people don't like sharing their weak side, so I'm trying to slow down a little bit, but I'm talking quite fast, right? But this is about as authentic as you're gonna get. And so as a creator, as entrepreneurs, we want to come up with these cool offers, whether it's personal training, whether it's this app that we're developing, whether it's a mindset course, because obviously the things that I've been through, I've toughened myself up and built a mental framework for dealing with most of the things people experience almost in their entire lifetime. And obviously that's not all experiences, but very diverse set of mental frameworks. And what I've learned is you kind of got to start, you can't operate out of, this is the number one lesson I learned from both of the challenges, is you can't operate out of a scarcity mindset and be attached to time. You can't be attached to the future or the past. You have to work as if you could work forever until it succeeds, and just work as hard as you can during that period of time, and it's going to happen eventually. But when you set a target 30 days from now, you're instantly giving yourself stress. You're instantly taking shortcuts and doing things in your head. It's good to get your mind going, but oftentimes it ends up fucking you. So that was the biggest lesson. Like I said, I could have made that, I still could make that, 10 grand or so if I really wanted to, but I feel like this other thing is going to be better for me, because if I do e-com and sell that door to door, sell it to people, whatever, or possibly a TikTok page, whatever I end up doing, there's no fulfillment after I sell the thing, right? Because with print on demand, it's automated. So I just do the really nice designs, pick a really nice shirt, set it up. The profit margins are a little bit lower because I'm having somebody else manage fulfillment for me, but that's okay with me because I don't have to fuck around with shipping and fulfillment afterwards. I just design the shit and organize it, which is really cool, and make a Shopify store. So I'm gonna do that. But the reason I made this video is because authenticity is the key to connecting with your viewers, I think. A lot of people don't share their authentic side, and I want to start doing these videos every day, honestly. And I'm going to tell you what I've been going through lately. So March 1st, I got the offer for the app. I told my parents about it, and they offered for me to come home for a couple of weeks and work on it. I was like, yeah, that's great. I had a pretty good relationship with my mom then. A distance is kind of, because growing up, I had kind of a tough relationship with my parents. But after that distance, it kind of grew together, and we were like getting pretty close and stuff, and she would come and visit and help me out in certain things, and I'm super appreciative for her, and you know, all of that. But and I went back home, and it's like that one quote that said, "Don't go back to the dog that bit you." And that's not just my parents. Like, I wouldn't say it's not just them that causes that, but it's the whole environment. It's being in the middle of nowhere in a wasteland where it's really hard for me to do runs because the roads are makes me want to like claw my eyes out. It's just so boring running down gravel roads. And there's no gym. Like, I would have to go 30 kilometers, and I don't have a car at the moment, so I'd have to get a ride, or I would have to run. But at the end of the day, if I ran, it would be a fucking marathon, and I'd end up eating all the food in the house, which is tough for me too, because my parents don't like me eating a lot of food because, you know, I guess food is expensive, and things aren't really tight for us. But at the end of the day, I can't be eating all the food, right? So I can't do that. But I come home, it's an older house, which is environmental. This whole thing is what environment has fucked me. And yes, I could be a little bit stronger and push through it, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm saying, you know, I don't care about anything else around me. I'm just doing what I need to do. And the first thing is doing content and still doing workouts. Like, I used to do workouts in the shop every morning. I would work out. I'd go there, do push-ups, do ab workouts, and then I'd go for a run, like 4 kilometers every morning. But it's just crazy for me how I'm so used to kind of a luxurious life in a sense of peace and enjoyment and being in a really nice house and having no responsibilities and not having anybody tell me what to do. Because another thing, I go home and my family, it's kind of tendencies from childhood. I mean, I appreciate them letting me stay there, and I think any family should do that. I don't know what's fucking wrong with Western culture where they kick their kids out of their house at 18. But apparently that's something my parents believe in. And so, but I do appreciate them letting me stay, but what I don't appreciate is so it's the same thing with a job, right? We don't like being told what to do, so we create our own business. But when I'm in this living situation and people are telling me what to do, it's extremely frustrating and nerve-wracking and irritating. I just have a thing, like my dad kind of had a control complex growing up, and it really, you know, that's one of the reasons that I left home as well, is because even from a young age, and this is getting into the truth, being real authentic with you guys, telling my story, you know, 15, 16, I think I bought Tai Lopez's social media marketing course when I was like 13 or 11 or something. It was $800. I made $250 payments on a payment plan. I made the first payment, didn't make the rest, but I watched the whole course, and I'm like, I need to make money, because number one motivation was I'm really into sleds and expensive stuff like that. So I wanted to live that lifestyle. 2, I wanted to escape. I mean, even from the age of 14, 15, 16, just from consequences from parents, like living situation, limitations, rules, all this other bullshit, I just wanted to get out. And so I'd be making money. I would literally skip fun things so that I could focus on business and make money so that I could escape, because it's literally torture. You know, I remember this one day, I was dating this girl from my town at the time, and she invited me to go to a party, and my parents don't like me going to parties, and we were just about to go, and they were coming to my house. Her brother comes in the house, and I'm at the shop, and I go to just about get in the truck, and my mom comes out screaming, or my parents, and they're like, you can't go. And then they're like, oh, whatever, and then, you know, they just drove off, right? And so that's, you know, it's always been that tough, where not only was it tough for me mentally, but it was like a social thing as well, because I was so limited by my family that it limited my social life, and eventually just kind of everybody's like, well, we invited you, but you end up not coming, or you make it so fucking hard to have fun with you, or go on a, you know, go whatever, we gotta come all the way to your place to pick you up, your parents won't drive in, do this and that. They did occasionally, but not all the time. Sorry guys, I'm trying to kind of go on a tangent, but it's just really tough. And kind of to tie back to the stories, I go back to this environment. One, I have people eating shit, you know, eating all kinds of bread. There's, you know, chocolate, margarine, seed oils galore, because I understand this because people don't know. I know a lot of things now that people don't know, and that's really tough for people to understand. And you know, my parents have quite a few health issues, you know, whether it's chronic pain or heart issues, they've been through it. And I'm like, you know what, this is caused by this, the majority of this, and like healthy lifestyle choices would fix that. But so yeah, food is one thing. The yelling and a little bit of violence at home in terms of like verbally is a little bit tough on me as well. And it's just really terrible. And coming back to content, I'm like, I don't want to make content because I don't want to portray the version of me which I dislike highly. Like, I actually put on a little bit of weight. Like, I used to be really, really lean at the gym, very striated, lots of muscle showing, muscle fibers. And I've went from probably like sub 5-6% body fat up to like 12 or 13 in the past 3 weeks, just because of inflammation, shit foods, probably limited exercise as well. I haven't done runs lately because I would just rather put that time towards hustling to get in a better environment. But yeah, I would say environment means so much to me, and to be around people that are positive, that eat good, that have positive thoughts, that aren't pessimistic, they aren't negative, because negative energy is sticky, even when you express it. Like, I'm doing it right now to get it out and to be authentic, but I don't like talking about this stuff because it's fucking sticky. It lingers around in the air. Visually, you know, when I get a nice apartment, I want it to be like pretty, right? Which is why my last place was pretty nice. I got a really, really good deal on that. I'm gone from there. I'd probably tell you the price anyways. It's $675 a month, but I got a really good deal sharing a room there. I'm probably gonna post this as a YouTube video. Fuck it, 17 minutes. I got a really good deal there. And I thought it was a really good idea because it gave me that visual environment. Like, every time I go to the kitchen to eat, I'm like, holy shit, this is me. It reinforces my identity. That's the biggest thing. Environment is so closely tied to identity because my identity has evolved so much from the place that I was living in this house as a kid. You know, I've moved out, I've been on my own, I've had the luxuries, I've been through the pain, I've had the lessons, I know what I want, I know who I am. And then coming back to this, it's literally, I was 10 times more happier and more stress-free, and this is gonna blow some of your people's minds. Living basically homeless, living in an office, working 18 hours a day, going to the gym, running from the gym, doing 5 kilometers a day, coming back, doing my full workout, going back, barely eating anything. I was happy, I was fulfilled, I was fulfilling my purpose. And it's just so tough, like, and this is my recommendation to anybody, to prioritize environment. And the sad thing is, a lot of people don't know how good they could have it because they've never got to that place. Like, for example, me in my home, before I moved out into my own place, I never knew how good that was and how much joy I would have and peace I would have from that. So I would encourage anybody that's kind of in a subpar environment to make that move, make that jump, and you know, move. Do everything you can. And I've even made, like, this is a huge motivator for me, right, is to help other people as well. I know everybody says they want to give value and help other people, but I know there's people that are like me that have kind of a shitty situation where, growing up, whatever it is, where they just wish they had the money to live on their own terms, because that's not only going to bring them up to the standards of what most people are living anyways, because for me, I felt like as a child, I was way, way, way below what normal kids were getting. Like, mentally wise, affection wise, social wise, I was just deprived of everything. And that's part of my driving force for success, is like, you know, Hormozy will say the same thing. Obviously I'm not Hormozy yet, but that's part of the motivation. And yeah, just make the move. I'm trying to think of how I could tie this back, like, to the original thing, because it was about content, doing the things you need to do. Because environments is so strong that I'm gonna let you guys, I posted on my story before. I post fucking everything I think on my story. I need to do more videos instead of posting on my story. And I probably will, because previously I would be so concerned about, you know, the background, the environment of like where I would take the video when that thought comes up, that instead I just take a picture where I create a story and I type it out. But I might as well just make videos, because I think that's a better thing to do. What I was getting to, environment is so strong. No thought that you've ever had is an original thought of yours. No idea, no thought is original. Everything that you have thought of, everything that you have created, that you have said, is a amalgamation. I think that's how you say that word. I always say it wrong. I memorize it wrong. But it's a combination of other people's ideas. You know, if you think of a shape, that shape, you got it from somewhere. You know, if you want to name your brand a certain thing, like one of the things that you would think would be the most authentic, organic thing, right? It's not. It's, you want to call it Emanate, which is what I'm calling my personal clothing brand, because you've had external influence, and this is like subconscious before it even happened. Is like, I listen to a lot of Emmanuel, which is an artist, electronic artist that makes some really good music. Emanate just means glow, so it's like influence from motivational people on Instagram, and so that's kind of how that came together. So no thought you've had is original, and that's why it's so important to filter your influence as well, which is going to be another one of my t-shirt designs. Whether that's social media, removing followers that don't, removing people that you follow that don't serve you, that are a bad influence on you, that don't provide value to your life. Unfollow the hot garbage. Do that. Ruthlessly clean out your social circle. You only need 2 or 3 good friends. You can have like business connections where it's like you only connect every so often, but you shouldn't be connecting with people that are detriment to your life. You know, if they're partying, they're drinking, they don't provide any value. Sure, maybe they're the friend to cry on their shoulder or whatever, if that's something that you need, but at the end of the day, those people, you only have room for so many people in your circle, so you have to clean you'll feel so much better just living everything optimized, and that's what I'm so used to, right? Optimize food, optimize mindset, optimize living space, organization to the point of OCD, which is a detriment sometimes because you spend more time organizing when you should be executing, doing things like outreach and sales and messaging. Environment, man. And just post content. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about this video, because it's authentic. You know, it was like, it's funny, that feeling that you go and you're gonna like ask a girl for the first time or whatever, or like whatever it is, right? My heart's just doing flips. And I was so nervous because people don't like portraying that weak side. And I said to my friend, I'm glad he pushed me through this, is that, you know, hold on, I'm kind of brain fucked right now. He pushed me through the belief. I didn't want to portray, because I kind of hate, I told him this isn't a dramatization. I said this to him, I'm like, but I hate my life in a sense right now. I don't hate my identity, I don't hate myself, but I hate everything around me. The dead wasteland, the bad environmental factors, and I just need to, my main priority, because influence is everything, right? Environment, is to put together the most mindless offer, hustle, get out of the situation, get to a place where my headspace is a good headspace. Because when you're creating these complex offers, like personal training and stuff, you have to work with people, you have to do sales calls. That's very hard to orchestrate when your headspace, when you're not in the right place mentally. Post something original. Hopefully this clicks for you guys, because this is not something that I would have posted before. And I'm gonna try and, like, I could blame it on environment, but really at the end of the day, if you're really strong, if you have an iron mindset, you're gonna ignore the environment. And I've always said that to myself, and really you should, because if you're really strong, that environment shouldn't affect you, right? You shouldn't let anything affect you. You're invincible to other people's feelings towards you, to their words. You're invincible to the situation you're in. And you turn it on its head, you make the best of it, kind of like I did with that 30-day challenge again. But at the same time, it is still so strong. Like I would say environment is like 50% of your identity going forward. 50% is like what you have previously, and then 50% of your future identity is being rewritten by where you're living and what you're eating and what you're consuming, content-wise, knowledge-wise, information-wise. But I think one thing that really helps is a schedule. I'm kind of going on a sidebar, but I know I said I would post all the videos for the 30-day challenge. I did quite a few. I did just about every day up until day 16-ish, and then I kind of got lazy and stopped doing them because I'm like, fuck, I just gotta focus. But I may post them in the future. I'm not gonna post them right now because I don't have the time to edit all those videos and put them together. Schedule can help. For example, my runs. All I have to do is write it on a piece of paper, say I'm going to run at 9 o'clock, and just do it. I have the discipline to do that. I just haven't been prioritizing things like fitness because I feel like environment is more important than fitness, even my personal fitness. Because if I spend a week just purely grinding a business, then hopefully I can be in a good environment, which means so much more to me than honestly gaining like 5 pounds or not being in super good shape. But yeah, my battery's about to die. Hopefully you guys got some value and some entertainment and some insight from this. But be authentic, surround yourself